I still remember the night I finally put my foot down. It was a chilly Saturday in late October, the kind where you can smell wood smoke in the air and the leaves crunch under your boots. We were at this fancy steakhouse downtown, me, my folks, and my little sister, Tara. She was turning 21, and they'd gone all out. Balloons, a cake with sparklers, the works. I was sitting there, nursing a beer, watching Tara soak up the attention like she was some kind of princess. Don't get me wrong, she's my sister, and I love her, but that night, something in me just broke. It started when the bill came. The waiter slid it across the table, and my dad, Ray, gave me this look. You know the one. Eyebrows raised, head tilted, like it was my cue. I'd seen it 100 times before. Hey, Jake, he said, real casual, you mind covering this? It's Tara's big day. I stared at the total, for $100. Steaks, wine, appetizers, stuff I didn't even order. I laughed, short and sharp. You serious, Dad? I'm not a bank. Mom chimed in then, her voice all icy. Jacob, don't make a scene. It's just money. Just money. That's what they always said. I grabbed my jacket off the chair. If it's just money, then you pay for it. I shot back. Tara rolled her eyes. God, Jake, why you gotta be so cheap? That stung, but I wasn't backing down. Cheap? Nah, Tara. The real joke here is you all thinking I'm gonna keep bankrolling your good times. Dad stood up, his face red. You walk out. Don't expect us to come begging when we need you. I looked him dead in the eye. Perfect. I'm counting on it. And I left. Driving home, hands tight on the wheel, I kept replaying it in my head. No one called. No texts, no nothing. Just quiet. And you know what? That quiet felt good, better than I'd felt in years. I should have known it had come to this. It wasn't some random blow-up. This had been building my whole life. I'd always been the guy they leaned on, the fixer, the paycheck, the one who never said no. And every time I thought maybe they'd see me for more than that, they'd prove me wrong. Let me take you back a bit, so you get why I kept saying yes for so long and why it took me forever to stop. Growing up, it was always Tara they fussed over. She was the baby, the star. When she got a B on a test, Mom would bake cookies, and Dad would slap her on the back like she'd won a medal. Me? I brought home straight A's, and I'd get a nice work, Jake, if I was lucky. Tara joined the cheer squad in high school, and they threw a barbecue to celebrate. I got a wrestling scholarship to a decent college, and Dad told me, don't let it go to your head. It wasn't just talk, either, it was cash. Tara got her car paid for, a shiny little Honda, while I busted my hump at a warehouse job to cover my tuition gap. I thought if I kept stepping up, working hard, helping out, maybe they'd care about me the way they cared about her. Dumb, right? But when you're the kid who's always in the shadow, you'll do anything to feel like you belong. That night at the steakhouse, though, I finally got it. I wasn't ever going to earn their love. I was just their safety net. And I was done being that guy. After I walked out of that steakhouse, the drive home felt like the first deep breath I'd taken in years. The radio was off, the windows cracked just enough to let the cold air slap me awake. I kept thinking about how it got this bad, how I let myself turn into the family's doormat. It didn't happen overnight. No, this was a slow burn, years in the making, and I'd been too stubborn or too blind to see it. Growing up in our little brick house on Maple Street, it was always Tara's show. She was 6 years younger, this tiny tornado of giggles and curls, and my folks ate it up. Mom would say, oh, Tara's so special, like it was a fact carved in stone. Dad would nod along, grinning like she'd invented sunshine. Me, I was the quiet one, the kid who mowed the lawn and fixed the leaky sink without being asked. I didn't mind at first. I liked being useful. But it got old fast when I realized useful was all I'd ever be to them. Take school, for instance. I'd come home with a report card full of A's, and Mom would glance at it, say, that's real good, Jake, then go back to fussing over Tara's finger painting. Tara got a C once, and they took her out for ice cream to cheer her up. When I won a wrestling trophy in 10th grade, Dad said, not bad, and that was it. But when Tara landed a spot on the cheer team, they rented out the VFW hall and invited half the neighborhood. I told myself it didn't matter, kept my head down, kept grinding. I figured hard work would pay off someday. Then there was the money part. College hit me like a freight train. I got a partial wrestling scholarship to state, but it didn't cover everything: books, fees, rent, you name it. So I worked nights at the warehouse, hauling boxes till my back screamed, while Tara got a free ride. Her high school graduation gift was a check for community college tuition, no strings attached. Mom said, Tara needs a fresh start. Me? They told me to figure it out. So I did. 2 jobs, no sleep, and a beat-up Chevy that barely ran. Meanwhile, Tara's Honda gleamed in the driveway. Gas tank always full, courtesy of Dad's wallet. I stayed home after high school longer than I should have, trying to save up. Big mistake. One night, over meatloaf, Dad leaned back in his chair and said, Jake, a man your age ought to pitch in around here. I nearly dropped my fork. Pitch in? I'm already fixing the roof and unclogging the drains. He shrugged. We're a family. Everyone's got to help. So I started paying rent, $500 a month, more than my buddies were shelling out for actual apartments. Tara? She didn't pay a dime. I found out later my cash wasn't going to bills. It was funding Tara's new phone, her clothes, her weekend trips with friends. I was footing her life, and she didn't even blink. Why'd I keep doing it? That's the kicker. It wasn't just habit or duty. Deep down, I thought if I was good enough, if I gave enough, they'd see me. Not just as the guy with the checkbook, but as their son. I wanted them to look at me the way they looked at Tara, all proud and warm. Stupid, I know. But when you grow up feeling like the spare tire, you'll chase anything that feels like belonging. That night at the steakhouse, though, I saw the truth plain as day. I could give them the world, and I'd still be the guy they called when the bill showed up. And I was sick of it. The days after I walked out of that steakhouse were quiet, too quiet, maybe. I kept expecting my phone to buzz, figured mom would call with some sob story, or dad would text something gruff like, "Get over it, Jake." But nothing came. Not a peep. I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel strange, but mostly it felt like I dropped a 50-pound weight off my shoulders. I went to work, hit the gym, grilled burgers on my little porch grill. Normal stuff, my stuff. For once, nobody was asking me for a damn thing. It was the night before Tara's big 21st birthday party that everything shifted. I was sprawled on my couch, half watching a football game, when my phone lit up. Mom's name on the screen. I let it ring a couple times, debating. Should have known better than to pick up, but I did. "Hey, Jake," she said, all sweet like she was calling to chat about the weather. "How you holding up?" I snorted. "Fine, Mom. What's up?" She paused, then launched in. "Well, tomorrow's Tara's party, and we're doing something real nice for her. I was hoping you could help out." Here it comes, I thought. Help out how? I asked, keeping my voice flat. "Oh, you know," she said. "Something special for her birthday. Maybe that leather jacket she's been eyeing, or one of those fancy cameras she wants for her photography class." I could hear the smile in her voice, like she was handing me a golden opportunity. "Mom," I said, sitting up, "you're giving me a shopping list." She sighed, long and dramatic. "Jake, it's her 21st. Don't be stingy." That word, stingy, hit me like a slap. "Stingy," I said. "What did she get me for my 21st? Oh, right. A text that said happy birthday 3 days late." Silence on her end. Then the guilt trip kicked in. "We've done so much for you, Jake. Can't you do this one thing for your sister?" That's when I lost it. One thing? "Mom, I've been paying your electric bill, fixing Dad's truck, buying Tara's textbooks. And you're calling me stingy?" Her tone turned sharp. "Don't exaggerate, Jacob. We're family." I hung up, just pressed the button and tossed the phone on the cushion. My hands were shaking, not from anger, but from how clear it all got. They didn't call to check on me. They called because they needed something. Always did. I paced my living room, thinking about how I'd let this go on too long. Then I did something dumb, something petty, but it felt good. I ordered that leather jacket online, set the delivery for the middle of Tara's party. Not because I was caving, but because I wanted them to see it roll in and know I wasn't playing their game anymore. The next night, I didn't go to the party. Stayed home, cracked a beer, watched the game. But I kept picturing it. The doorbell ringing, the delivery guy handing over that box, Tara ripping it open while Mom and Dad beamed. I didn't call to explain. Didn't text. I just let it sit there, a shiny, expensive reminder of everything I'd done for them. And I knew, right then, that was the last time I'd let them pull that crap. I wasn't showing up to play the hero anymore. I was out. Thing is, I thought that'd be the end of it. Thought I'd made my point, and they'd leave me alone. But I was wrong. 3 days later, Mom called again, and this time, it wasn't about a gift. It was about something bigger, something that'd make me realize just how far they'd go to keep me on the hook. And trust me, it got wild. 3 days after I sent that leather jacket to Tara's party, my phone buzzed again. Mom. I should have let it go to voicemail, but something curiosity, maybe, made me pick up. "Jake," she said, her voice soft like she was testing the waters. "We need to talk. Can you come over for dinner tonight? Your dad's been asking about you." I leaned against my kitchen counter, staring at the sink full of dishes I hadn't gotten around to. "What's this about, Mom?" She hesitated. "We just want things to be right again. Family shouldn't fight like this." I almost laughed. Family. Funny how that word only came up when they wanted something. Against my better judgment, I said, "Fine. I'll be there." Hung up and spent the rest of the day second-guessing myself. By the time I pulled into their driveway, the sun was dipping low, painting the house in that golden light that made everything look cozier than it was. Inside, it smelled like pot roast, my favorite, and the table was set like they'd put real effort in. Dad was in his recliner, flipping through the TV guide. Tara was on the couch, scrolling her phone, barely looking up when I walked in. "Hey," I said, dropping my keys on the counter. Mom smiled, too bright. "Hey, honey. Sit down." We ate mostly in silence at first, the clink of forks on plates louder than anything else. Then Mom started in. "Jake, we were upset about the other night." "That wasn't you." I chewed slow, waiting for the punchline. "Upset?" I said. "You mean when I wouldn't pay for Tara's party?" Dad grunted, setting his glass down hard. "Look, son, maybe we got our signals crossed, but we're a team here. We look out for each other." I smirked. "Yeah? Feels more like I'm the only one looking out." Mom put her hand on mine, all gentle-like. "Let's move past that. We've been thinking, and we've got an idea to fix things." Here it was, the real reason they'd hauled me back. I pulled my hand away. "Fix things how?" Dad leaned forward, elbows on the table. Tara's lease is up next month. She's been looking at apartments, but rent's crazy. You've got that spare room in your place now that you're settled. I blinked. You want Tara to move in with me? Mom nodded, like it was the most obvious thing. It's perfect, Jake. You've got the space, 2 bedrooms, right? She could use one. It'd help her out so much. I sat back, feeling my jaw tighten. Help her out? You mean I'd be paying her rent too? Tara finally looked up, smirking. God, Jake, it's not like it'd kill you. You've got a good job. That did it. I pushed my plate away. Let me get this straight. I tell you I'm done being your cash cow, and your big fix is to stick Tara in my house for free, because I've got space. Mom sighed, all dramatic. Don't twist this, Jake. We're trying to make it right. I laughed, loud and bitter. Make it right? You're trying to use me harder. Dad's face went dark. Watch your tone, boy. I stood up, chair scraping the floor. No, you watch yours. For years, I've bailed you out, fixed your cars, paid your bills, bought Tara's crap. And now you want my home too? I'm not your damn landlord. Tara rolled her eyes. You're so full of yourself. I turned on her. Full of myself? I've been carrying you since you were 16, and you can't even say thanks. Mom's voice went sharp. Enough, Jacob. Sit down. I didn't sit. I grabbed my jacket. Nah, I'm done here. You don't get it. I'm not your fix-it guy anymore. Dad slammed his hand on the table. You leave now. Don't come crawling back. I met his glare. Good. Don't call me when Tara's next bill's due. And I walked out calm, steady, no big scene. Just gone. Driving home, I felt this weird peace settle in. I'd said it, meant it, and that was that. But I should have known they wouldn't let it go so easy. What came next was a whole new level of crazy. After I walked out of my folks' house that night, the world went still. No calls, no texts, not even a passive-aggressive note slipped under my door. It was like they'd vanished, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel good. For the first time in forever, I wasn't waiting for the next shoe to drop. I went to work at the warehouse, clocked my hours, hit the gym after, cooked myself some spaghetti on the stove. Normal life, my life, no one else's baggage dragging me down. I kept expecting that old guilt to creep in, the kind that used to nag me into picking up the phone. But it didn't. I was free, and it felt right. Those first few weeks were golden. I'd wake up in my little 2-bedroom place, nothing fancy, just a brick box with a decent porch, and smile at the quiet. No one asking me to fix a busted faucet or spot them cash for gas. I started tinkering with stuff I'd put off, fixed up an old motorcycle I'd bought cheap, took it for rides out past the county line. I even saved a chunk of change, enough to think about a fishing trip come spring. It hit me hard. This is what living's supposed to feel like. Not running myself ragged for people who don't give a damn. Word got around, though. My buddy Mike, who still talks to Tara's crowd, filled me in over beers one night. Your sister's back home with your folks, he said, popping a peanut in his mouth. Lease ran out, and she ain't happy about it. I shrugged. Not my problem. Mike grinned. Yeah, well, they're feeling it without you. Tara's whining about getting a job, quit some gig at a smoothie place after a week. Your dad's griping about bills piling up. I took a swig of my beer. They'll figure it out. Always do. And I meant it. I wasn't their lifeline anymore. 6 months rolled by like that. Me building something for myself while they floundered. I'd hear bits and pieces through the grapevine. Tara blowing cash on dumb stuff. Mom and Dad scrambling to keep the lights on. I didn't reach out, didn't check in. I was done playing savior. Then, one Sunday, I'm kicked back with a book, some western about a guy riding solo across the plains, when my phone buzzed. Mom again. I stared at it, gut telling me to let it ring. But I picked up anyway. Jake, she said, voice all wobbly. We need you. I leaned back in my chair, bracing myself. Need me for what? She took a breath, like she was gearing up for a pitch. It's Tara. She's got this idea. She wants to start a little boutique, you know, selling clothes and jewelry. But she needs help getting it off the ground. I closed my eyes, pinching the bridge of my nose. Help how? Mom's tone brightened, like she thought she had me. Just some money to start. A loan, really? She's got a plan. She'll pay you back. I couldn't help it. I laughed. How much? She hesitated. 40,000. 40 grand. I nearly dropped the phone. You're kidding me, right? $40,000 for Tara to play dress up. Mom's voice tightened. Jake, don't be cruel. She's trying to do something with her life. I sat up straight. And I'm supposed to bankroll it? After everything? She went quiet, then pulled the family card. We're in a tough spot, Jake. You've always been the strong one. Can't you help us out this once? I let that sit for a second, the old pull tugging at me. But I'd been down this road too many times. No, Mom, I said, calm as I could. I'm not your ATM. Tara wants a boutique. She can work for it like I did. She gasped, like I'd slapped her. Jacob, how can you say that? We're your family. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see. Family doesn't mean I owe you my whole life. And I hung up, heart pounding but steady. I thought that'd be the end of it. Thought they'd get the hint. But I was dead wrong. What they pulled next was something I never saw coming, and it changed everything. After I hung up on Mom that Sunday, I figured I'd bought myself some peace. $40,000, man, the nerve of them still burned me up. I spent the next few days keeping busy, wrenching on my motorcycle, grilling steaks for myself, even started sketching out plans for that fishing trip. I was done letting them yank me back into their mess. But my family's got a way of digging their hooks in deep, and they weren't about to let me ride off into the sunset that easy. It was a Wednesday evening, gray and rainy, when my phone buzzed again. Dad this time. I stared at the screen, rain tapping the windows, and thought about ignoring it. But something told me to hear him out, just to see how far they'd push it. "Jake," he said when I picked up, his voice gruff like he'd been rehearsing. "We gotta talk about Tara's boutique thing." I leaned against the wall, already tired. "I told Mom no, Dad. That's it." He cleared his throat. "Hear me out, son. She's serious about this. We just need a little help to get her started." I rubbed my eyes. "How much help?" He paused, then dropped it. 35,000. "We've got some saved, but we're short." I laughed. Couldn't help it. 35 grand. "You're insane." He didn't laugh back. "Jake, you've got the money. You're doing good now. Why can't you share a little?" That hit me wrong. "Share? Dad, I've been sharing since I was 18. Your mortgage, Tara's car, all of it. I'm done." He got quiet. Then his tone shifted, low and hard. "We raised you, boy. Gave you everything. This is how you repay us." I clenched my fist. "Repay you? I've paid more than my share. What's Tara ever done for you, or me?" He didn't answer that. Instead, he said, "Come over tomorrow. We'll sort this out face to face." I should have said no, but I wanted them to look me in the eye and try this crap. "Fine," I said, "but don't expect me to budge." Next night, I rolled up to their place, the rain still dripping off my jacket as I stepped inside. Mom had coffee going, and Tara was at the table, flipping through a magazine like nothing was up. Dad waved me to a chair. "Sit, Jake." I sat, arms crossed. Mom started, all soft and careful. "We know you're upset, honey, but Tara's got a real shot here. This boutique could change things for her." Tara piped up, not even looking at me. "Yeah, Jake, it's not like I'm asking for a handout. I'll pay you back, eventually." I snorted. "Eventually? That's rich. How about you get a job and save up like I did?" Dad cut in. "She's trying, Jake, but she needs a boost. You've got that spare cash now. Why not help your sister?" I leaned forward, staring them down. "Because I'm not your piggy bank. I told you I'm out." Mom's eyes got teary. "We're struggling, Jake. Without you, it's been hard." That's when I snapped, not loud, but sharp. "Hard? You've been riding my back for years. I'm not the fix for your problems." Then I got an idea, something mean, but fair. "All right," I said, leaning back. "I'll give you the 35,000. Mom's face lit up. "Oh, Jake, that's..." I held up a hand. "Wait. Here's the deal. I hand over the cash, interest-free. But if Tara doesn't pay me back in 12 months, you sign over the truck, your F-150, to me." Dad's jaw dropped. "The truck? That's my livelihood." I nodded. "And that money's mine. Take it or leave it." The room went dead silent. Tara slammed her magazine down. "You're a jerk, Jake." Mom shook her head, voice trembling. "That's not fair." Dad just stared, then said, "If that's your game, we don't need you." I stood up, grabbing my keys. "Good. Then we're done here." I walked out, rain soaking me as I climbed into my truck. No yelling, no big fight, just a clean break. And for once, I knew they couldn't pull me back. But I underestimated them. What they did next was a gut punch I never expected. The rain was still pounding when I left my folks' place that night, my truck's wipers slapping back and forth like they were mad at the world. I'd thrown down that deal, 35,000 for Tara's boutique, with their truck as collateral, and they'd balked hard. Dad's words, "We don't need you," echoed in my head as I drove home. I wasn't mad anymore, not really. Just tired. Tired of the games, the guilt trips, the endless cycle of me giving and them taking. For once, I'd said my piece and walked away clean. I thought that was the end of it. Thought I'd finally cut the cord. But life's got a way of throwing curveballs. A couple weeks passed, and I settled into my new normal. Work was steady. Hauling freight at the warehouse paid the bills, and then some. I'd ride my motorcycle out to the lake on weekends. Just me and the open road, the wind drowning out everything else. I'd saved up a nice chunk of cash, enough to eyeball a little boat for that fishing trip I'd been dreaming about. No calls from Mom or Dad. No text from Tara. Just silence. And you know what? It was the best damn silence I'd ever heard. I started to feel like me again. Not the guy they leaned on, but Jake, the guy who could breathe. Then, out of the blue, Mike swung by my place one Saturday. He's my buddy from way back, the one who keeps tabs on the family gossip. We cracked open some beers on the porch, and he got this grin. "You ain't gonna believe this, man," he said, leaning back in the chair. "Your sister's boutique? She actually tried it." I raised an eyebrow. "No kidding? Where'd she get the money?" Mike laughed. "Took out a loan, some shady online deal. Opened a little stall at the flea market, selling scarves and earrings, or whatever. Lasted about a month before she gave up." I took a sip, picturing Tara behind a rickety table, pouting when nobody bought her stuff. "What about Mom and Dad?" I asked. Mike shrugged. "They're scrambling. Loan payments hit, and Tara's not pitching in. Your dad's talking about selling the F-150 to cover it." I set my beer down, letting that sink in. The truck, Dad's pride and joy, the one he'd nearly choked over when I'd put it on the table. They didn't call me, I said, half surprised. Mike nodded. Yeah, think they're too proud or too pissed. That night, I sat there after Mike left, staring at the dark. Part of me wondered if I should reach out, see if they were okay. But then I remembered every time I'd bailed them out. Every dollar, every favor, every thanks I never got. They'd made their bed, and I wasn't climbing in it with them. A month later, I got a text from a number I didn't know. It was Dad. Sold the truck. Tara's moving out west with some guy. Your mom's a mess. Hope you're proud of yourself. Short, bitter, like a punch. I read it twice, then deleted it. Didn't reply. Didn't need to. Here's the thing. I thought walking away would hurt more. Thought I'd miss them, feel that old ache of family pulling me back. But I didn't. I felt light, like I'd been hauling a trailer full of bricks my whole life and finally unhitched it. Tara took off, chasing some dude to California or wherever, and last I heard, she's bouncing between dead-end jobs. Mom and Dad downsized to a little apartment, scraping by. They don't call, and I don't either. Mike says they still talk about me sometimes, grumbling like I'm the bad guy. Let him. I'm not losing sleep over it. Now, a year later, I'm sitting on my porch as the sun dips low, a cold beer in my hand, and that boat parked in the driveway. Bought it cash last month. Tomorrow, I'm heading to the lake, rod and tackle ready. My life's mine now. I wake up when I want, spend what I earn, go where I please. No one's leaning on me, and I'm not looking over my shoulder waiting for the next ask. Was I wrong to cut them loose? Maybe once I'd have doubted it, chewed myself up over the what-ifs. But not now. Family's supposed to lift you up, not drag you down. And when they couldn't figure that out, I had to choose me. Best damn choice I ever made.